Hello and welcome to another live English lesson. So, today we are going to study lesson 7, which is basically the last one. Hi, everyone. The last important lesson of Unit 6. So, lesson 7 is titled Career Plans, right? So, what is meant by career plans, or what is meant by career after all? You know that the word career refers to, can say, an occupation or job, right? So, career plans, yes, Basmala says, yes, exactly. So, a career plan can be defined as one, as a plan that someone may make so that they can get the career they dream of, right? Like when you plan to, for example, to be an engineer in the future. So you keep studying hard and you keep focusing on certain topics, certain subjects in your school because you are um, trying to fulfill your dream of being, for example, an engineer, right? So this is what we call a career plan. Because you know what's meant by plan, right? And the word career, um, we can say that it refers to, or it has the same meaning as job or occupation. So now you know what is meant by career plan, right? So here in this lesson, we have four texts about four people, four teenagers, two girls, two boys. We have to read them, and afterwards, we have to answer these questions and do the exercises. It is a kind of light lesson today. Now, let me read the first one. Let us scan this text before we do everything. Okay, so Sarah, she says, I am 14 I am 14 years old. I think I am quite friendly and hardworking. I passed all my exams last year. At school, I am good at languages. I am very good at English and French. I'm not very good at science. When I finish school, I'm going to study French at university because I want to be a translator. Now let us move to the next one, who is Adil. I am very hardworking and patient. I have two little brothers, and they never make me angry. At the weekend, I always go and help on a friend's farm because I love working with animals. I enjoy working with horses most. At school, I am good at biology. I am going to take my last school exam next year. If I get good marks, I'm going to go to college to learn how to make sick animals better. I am going to be a vet. Now, the other one on page 69, Khalid. Khalid says, I think I'm quite friendly. At school, I am good at mathematics, but I am not very good at the other subjects. I am very good at making things. We have a lesson in woodwork twice a week, and I love it. I make things at home as well, tables, shelves, and cupboards. I'm going to go to a vocational school to train to be a carpenter. Now the last one, Dania. Dania says, I am very hardworking. I am also very fit and healthy because I do a lot of sport. My favorite school my favorite school subjects are science and IT, information technology. I am also very good at geography and English. After school, I'm going to study science at university. When I finish studying, I am going to fly to the moon in a spacecraft. I'm going to be an astronaut. Now, since we have read all of these four career plans of these four people, teenagers, let us now answer these questions. As you see, here it asks us to find the answers from these texts. Yusuf O says, what is meant by IT? Yusuf, we mentioned this last time when we studied the timetable. If you remember, we said that IT stands for Information Technology. Yes, exactly, Dima. Information Technology, right? So, now let us answer this or these questions. Number one, who thinks they are friendly, for example? Now, before that, do you remember when we said that if we want to speak about people without mentioning if they are he or she, we use they, right? So who thinks they? Because if you say who thinks he is, maybe you have a girl who thinks that she is something. So how to deal with such a problem? You use the they, right? I think that you remember this. We have mentioned this a lot of times. So who thinks they are A, friendly? Who thinks that they are friendly? Abdus Salam answers. What about the others? It's not a good time to sleep. So Sarah and Khalid think that, yes, Dima and Dalal, Sarah and Khalid think that they are friendly, right? Sarah and Khalid think that they are friendly. How could we know this? From these texts, right? We have read that Sarah says, I think I am quite friendly. And in addition to Khalid, when he said, I think I am quite friendly. Yes, now the other one. Who thinks they are hardworking? Who among these four teenagers thinks that they are hardworking? Sarah, Adil, and Dania. Not Dennis. Dania. She is Dania, not Dennis. So Sarah, Adil, and Dania, think that they are hardworking. What is meant by hardworking? What is meant by hardworking? Working hard. Yes, it's okay, Abdulsalam. I know, I know. What is meant by hardworking? Yes, it's clear. Yes, kind of, Abdulsalam. But just like Amir said, okay, so Who thinks they are hardworking? We said they are Adil, Sarah, and Dania. Think that they are hardworking people. Number C. Who thinks they are patient? Do you remember yesterday when we studied lesson 6 and we saw this word patient? We said that it has different meanings, whether it is a noun or an adjective. So here, is this a noun or an adjective? This is an adjective here. So who thinks that they are patient? Adil. Adil mentions that he is patient, right? He says, I am very hardworking and patient. Now, second question. Who is good at science? Who is good at science? Adil and Dania are good at science, right? Adil and Dania are good at science because both of them mentions this, right? And how could you know that Adil is good at science? How could you know? I want someone to answer this question. How could you know that Adil is good at science? Yes, exactly, Dima, because he says, I am good at biology. Yes. So, we said that Adil and Dania are good at science. Now, B. Who is good at mathematics? Who is good at mathematics? Khalid is good at mathematics, right? Because he mentions this. Yes. Now the other one. Who is good at French? Who is good at French? Sarah is good at French. Yes. Yes. Thank you for being active today. Now, the last one, geography. Who is good at geography? Who is good at geography? Dania is good at geography. That's right. Now let's move to the last question. Who is going to go to a vocational school? First of all, what is meant by vocational school? What is meant by vocational school? Can you? Yes, yes, exactly, Basmala. Can you give me an example of a vocational school in Mosul? Do you know? There's one near the near your school, right? Kind of near. There is a vocational school near your school. No, no. Vocational school. There's one beside the university. We have another camera. Okay. There is a vocational school. Nope. Vocational school. Now it has a name, and it is just beside one of the gates of the university of Mosul University. is in front of the police center or the police. Hmm? It's okay. Please do not sleep. It's okay. So you know now, at least you know what is meant by vocational school. So who is going to go to a vocational school? Who is going to go to a vocational school? Khalid. Khalid is going to go to a vocational school. Yes, exactly. And the other one, who is going to go to university? Sarah and what? And Dania. They are going to go to the university. That's right. And you know what is meant by a university and what is meant by a college, right? So now that we finished these questions, let us move to the activity book. We have this exercise. It tells us to find these words in the text on page 68 mm, and 69 of your student's book and match them to their meaning. So it's all about meaning here. We have these words which you can find in the text. So do we have to read the text again? Let us read the text again one more time quickly and pay attention to these words. The words are, as you know, astronaut, carpenter, college, translator. So I'm going to read them quickly. Sarah. I am 14 years old. I think I'm quite friendly and hardworking. I passed all my exams last year. At school, I am good at languages. I am very good at English and French. I am not very good at science. When I finish school, I'm going to study French at university because I want to be a translator. Adil. I am very hardworking and patient. I have two little brothers and they never make me angry. At the weekend, I always go and help on a friend's farm because I love working with animals. I enjoy working with horses most. At school, I am very good at biology. I'm going to take my last school exam next year. If I get good marks, I'm going to go to college to learn how to make sick animals better. I'm going to be a vet. Khalid, I think I'm quite friendly. At school, I'm good at mathematics, but I'm not very good at the other subjects. I am very good at making things. We have a lesson in woodwork twice a week, and I love it. I make things at home as well. Tables, shelves, cupboards. I'm going to go to a vocational school to train to be a carpenter. Dania, I am very hardworking. I'm also very fit and healthy because I do a lot of sports. My favorite school subjects are science and information technology. I am also very good at geography and English. After school, I'm going to study science at university. When I finish studying, I'm going to fly to the moon in a spacecraft. I'm going to be an astronaut. Now, I think that found these words in the text. Now let us do the exercise. It's all about meaning. So A, somebody who makes things with wood. You know what's meant by wood, right? So the answer is 2. Yeah, just like that, Amir. Just like that. So 2, carpenter. Carpenter. So the first one is 2, carpenter. Now the second one, somewhere to study after finishing school. Somewhere to study after finishing school. You have remember that you have to choose among one from these words. So B is 1. B is what? B is a 3, sorry, which is college. Yes, exactly. So now C, somebody who gives the meaning of something written in another language. Yes, C, 4, translator. Now D, somebody who flies in a spacecraft. Astronaut. Exactly. And what is meant by astronaut? What is meant by astronauts? Yes. And that's it. I think that we only have this language box at the bottom of page 69. When you talk about the future using the present tense. Now, for example, the sentence when, okay, a newcomer, when we have, what are you going to do when you finish school? You see, the sentence is conveying a future tense, something in the future. But it is originally, as you can see, it is formed in the present tense. And as it is said here, we always use the present tense in the when part of the sentence, right? So I think it's quite easy for you, right? You are distinguished students. You make everything easy. So shall we move to the other lesson? Shall we? Or maybe we have another exercise, right? Yes, I missed that. We have exercise B. Now, this is a draft of somebody's career plan. Correct it and make it better. So, as we said, that these texts that you find on pages 68 and 69 of your student's book are called career plans made or written by those 4 teenagers, Sarah, Khalid, Dania, and Adil. So here there is another career plan, right? Which is a draft actually of a career plan. And you have to correct it. And you know what is meant by draft, right? You know what is meant by draft. Okay, yes. Just like what Amir and Bisma said. So, okay. So this is a career plan. How can you correct it? I think that you cannot write it here in the chat section. So you can consider this exercise as a homework. I wanted to be corrected and sent to me. Okay? So this is your homework. Now let us move to exercise C. Exercise C asks you to write your own career plan. So the previous exercise, there is a draft of a career plan that you should correct, while here you have to write your own one. Okay? So how to write a career plan, just like those that you read about in the student's book. Um, the first you have to write about, you can follow this plan, it's obvious. You write about your personality and what you're good at, what you do during your pastimes, and what are you going to be when you finish school. Are you going to go to college or university, or when you finish your school? So I think that you can do it. This is another homework. You have to write your own career plan, just like those that you find in lesson 7 of your student's book. Okay, just like these ones, like the career plan of Sarah and Adil, Khalid and Dania. It's quite easy, right? So now we have reached lesson 9. Lesson 9 is actually a roundup, a recap of the whole unit. So as you know, unit 6 was titled Jobs. So it was all about jobs and careers. As you remember, we started the unit by studying lesson 1, which was titled What Do They Do?, in which we read and studied 7 jobs. They were businesswoman, pilot, architect, mechanic, engineer, shop assistant, and a firefighter. We studied each one of them. We read a lot of them about them. And after that, in lesson 2, we studied 2 jobs in detail, which were the Dr. Selwa's job, who is a doctor, and Hanan's job, who is an office manager. We studied in detail what the specialty, different specialties of doctors. And as you remember, we watched video concerning this subject. And we also met another woman who told us about how to be an office manager. In the next lesson, we studied um, lesson 3, which was titled A Day in the Life of a Firefighter. We spent some time with Mazen, who is a firefighter, and we learned a lot about firefighters and what they do and how they train. And you watched a video, 2 videos actually, about firefighters. And we played games, and it was fun. And after that, we studied lesson 5, which is about school timetable, which is so easy for you. We learned certain information, pieces of information concerning some subjects which are strange to us, like IT, which we said It is information technology, PE, which is psychology. Sorry everyone, I lost the connection, unfortunately. So I was making a recap of what we have studied so far in Unit 6, and I was speaking about the timetable that you studied previously. And after that lesson, we studied lesson 6, which was about two people, Firas and Hannah, and what they think that they want to be in the future, right? Grammatically speaking, we study the future tense and how to express or to say or to speak about an action in the future tense. We said that we either use the will construction, of which the formula should be subject plus will plus a verb in its root form, or you can use the be going to construction, which is subject plus the verb be plus going to plus the main verb in its root form and followed by a complement, like I am going to be something, I'm going to do something. And what else have we studied? We studied certain jobs, and you know how to use the articles with jobs. Like here, the first point of lesson 9, he is a mechanic, he is an architect. Now it's easy for you, you know this. We have talked about this before. And today we studied certain career plans, in fact, and your homework is to write a career plan. Some of you asked me if there is another homework in addition to that of correcting the draft of a career plan. Yes, the next exercise, which was exercise C, is also a homework. You should write your own career plan following the plan mentioned or stated in lesson C of your activity book on page 88. So that was all about unit 6. Now, do you have any question concerning unit 6? Anything that you could not understand? Can you hear me first? Can you hear me? Is there any problem in connection? Okay. So now let us move to the activity book to do some exercises concerning unit 6. The first one, write. By the way, you may ask yourselves, where is lesson 8? Lesson 8 actually is on page 84 of your student's book. But since we are not really studying in a real classroom, so unfortunately we could not study it now. Maybe in the future, maybe, I don't know. But that's why there is no lesson 8 in your student's book. You can find it on page 84 and 86, which is about a project. There are certain articles that you should read and do something, but unfortunately, because of this situation, we cannot study this lesson. So let's get back to the activity book on page 88. Lesson 9, exercise A. Write words that mean the opposite. Number 1, to lose. What is the opposite of lose? Yes, just like Abdul Salam says, win. You can say win. For those who wrote win, thank you. It means that you depend on yourselves on finding the answer. But the word that I seek and I want is beat. B-E-A-T, which is the opposite of lose. And if you say win, it's also correct. Second one, lazy. What is the opposite of lazy? We have studied such a word in the previous lesson. Sorry everyone, I lost the connection. Can you hear me now? That's great. So we were saying the opposite of lazy is hardworking. Hardworking. Dima, I think that you mean intelligent. Intelligent? No, it's not intelligent. Lazy. The opposite of lazy is hardworking. Number 3, polite. What is the opposite of polite? It is. What is the opposite of polite? Impolite. Right? Now, number 4. What is the opposite of pass? What is the opposite of pass? Fail. Not pass out. Pass, the word pass. If you remember, we studied such a thing, such a word in the previous lecture in the activity book. Now, the last one, break. What is the opposite of break? When you break something, especially you girls, since you don't like cooking, and when you go to the kitchen and you try to make something for the first time in your life, so you break the dishes, right? But unfortunately, some dishes cannot be repaired, so the answer is repair, right? The answer is repair. Now, B. Write the missing letters in these words. Yes, Abdussalam. So, number 1. What letters that you should put in these blanks? CH, so it becomes mechanic, right? Yes, exactly. So number 2, what are the letters that you should put in these blanks? Write the full word or words. Yes. So they are U and V. Bus driver. Bus driver. Number 3. What are the missing letters in number 3? Yes, yes. What are the missing letters? CH. So it is architect. Right? Architect. Number 4. What are the missing letters? AU. So it becomes astronaut. Astronaut. Number 5. What are the missing letters of number 5? OR. So it becomes translator. Yes. And last one. What are the missing letters? Yes, Raya. What are the missing letters of the last one? E and ER. So it becomes carpenter. What is meant by carpenter? What is meant by carpenter? Yes. And you know what is meant by translator? And you know what is meant by astronaut? And what is meant by architect? You're too slow, Abdullah son. Not artist, architect. Architect. What is meant by architect? Yes, exactly. Exactly. So that's it with this exercise. Let us move to the next one, which is exercise C. Answer these questions with words from exercise B. Now, we have written certain, we have completed the missing letters of certain names of jobs of exercise B. Here we have to answer these questions. Number 1, who wears a uniform? Who wears a uniform? Pay attention that Raya and everyone, you have to take these words from exercise B. From exercise B. Okay? Is it clear now? You have to take the answers of exercise C from exercise B. So, who wears a uniform among these people? Who wears a uniform? Just like Dima and I think Basmala also said, not Basmala, no. Amir. Yes, Amir. Bus driver. Bus driver wears a uniform. It's okay. We are not familiar with such a thing, but I think that you have watched many movies in which the bus driver wears a uniform, right? So, who wears a uniform? Number 1 is a bus driver. A bus driver. Okay? Now, number 2, who repairs cars? Mechanic. Yes, mechanic. It is mentioned in exercise B. Now, number 3, who knows other languages? Yes, translator. So, a translator knows other languages. Number 4, who designs buildings? architect. So when you write it, you say an architect. Sorry, an architect, right? So an architect designs buildings. Number 5. Who flies in a spacecraft? Astronaut. An astronaut flies in a spacecraft, right? Yes. So the last one, who makes things with wood? So quick, Abdussalam. Carpenter. A carpenter makes things with wood, right? Now, let us move to exercise D. Each of the words or phrases in the box is connected to a school subject. Write them next to the correct subject. Do you remember when we did that exercise? When I asked you certain words and you mentioned what are the subjects that these words are involved into? When I told you the word, for example, numbers, you said mathematics, right? When I told you computers, you said information technology. So just like that, these are certain, we have different words here, and they are connected to certain subjects, certain school subjects. So what are they? Cooking, past events, weather and population, computers, Islam, numbers and shapes. So, number 1, we remember when we found such a subject in the timetable of the English school, which was RE, which we said it is religious education. So, which one of these words is connected to religious education? Yes, Islam. So, number 1 is Islam. Islam is a religious connected to the subject religious education, right? Now, number 2, geography. Which one among these words that is connected to geography? Geography. Weather and population. Exactly. Weather and population, yeah, Abdullah. Weather and population. Because what is meant by past events? What is meant by past events? You know what is meant by past, right? And what is meant by events? Yes, exactly, Abdussalam. So now number 3, history. Which among these words is connected to history, past events? So it's okay, Dima, I know. 3, history refers to past events. Number 4, mathematics. So quick, Abdussalam. Numbers and shapes. Mathematics, numbers and shapes. The other one, 5, which is home economics. Home economics. No, sorry. 5S. Yes, 5. Home economics. Cooking. Yes, exactly. So now the last one, 6, of course. Information technology. It is linked and connected to uh, computers. Okay. Now, exercise E. Read the answers below and write questions. Read the answers below and write questions. Number 1. When I finish school, I am going to be a newspaper reporter. So what is the question? I know we are running out of time. So okay, we only do these 3 and that's it. You're kind of right, but just like the question that we read in lesson 7, so you should say, what are you going to be? What are you going to be when you leave school? Right? So the first one, what are you going to be when you finish school, okay, or when you leave school? So what are you going to be when you finish school? This is number 1. Yes, Dima, Dilal, Zainab. Now number 2, I am going to study mathematics at university. What is the question? Yes, what are you going to study at university? What are you going to study at university? Yes, now the last one. I am going to work at the airport. Yes, where are you going to work? Since here he is mentioning a place, so you should use where in your question, in your WH question. And I think that's it. We finished lesson 9 and everything about the units. We only have lesson 10 and the extra activities. So that's it for today. We basically finished the important things about unit 6, and inshallah next time we will study lesson 10, and maybe or maybe not we will study the extra activities. After that we will rush into unit 7 inshallah. So do you have any question, anything that you find difficult? No question? Okay, so thank you for joining this lesson, and thank you so much, Dima. You are more than welcome. I'm so glad that you enjoy this lesson. Thank you for joining me today, and see you next time. Have a nice weekend. Bye bye.